It's the 8th of October and I'm Jerusha Sukhthio-Rath. Here are today's news headlines. EFF MPs walk out of their disciplinary hearing. Sri Ndivani's trial will continue in the Western Cape High Court, and the Canadian Parliament authorises airstrikes in Iraq. EFF MPs led by Julius Malema walked out of their disciplinary hearing in Parliament yesterday afternoon. The Powers and Privileges Committee was left to proceed without the charged MPs. Now, Malema called it an unconstitutional exercise biased against the EFF, as the Powers and Privileges Committee was dominated by ANC MPs. The EFF accused Speaker of the House Baleka Mbete of mismanagement on August 21st. That's when EFF MP shouted "pay back the money" at President Jacob Zuma during a presidential question time in the National Assembly. Mbete ordered members who were not serious to leave the chamber after EFF MPs repeatedly pointed out that Zuma had failed to answer when he would heed Public Protector Thuli Madonsela's directive to repay some of the 246 million rand in state funds spent on his home. After the EFF MPs walked out of the National Assembly, the committee proceeded without the EFF members who risk suspension from the legislature for up to 14 working days if they're found guilty. The hearing continues today, but it continues without those EFF MPs. The trial of Sri Ndivani, accused of murdering his wife during their Cape Town honeymoon, will continue today in the Western Cape High Court. Now, Ndivani is charged with murder, kidnapping, robbery with aggravating circumstances, and conspiracy to commit these crimes. He's also charged with defeating the ends of justice. In a plea explanation handed to Deputy Judge President Jeanette Traverso and read out by his lawyer Francois van Zyl, Ndivani described how he and Annie were victims of a traumatic hijacking in November 2010. Ndivani denied being guilty of the offences he'd been charged with in the plea explanation, and he also stated that because of the traumatic experience, he'd suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. The document also makes mention of his personal circumstances, the relationship that he had with Annie, and he also revealed that he was bisexual and had sexual interactions with both men and women. And finally, Canada's Parliament voted yesterday to authorize airstrikes against the Islamic State militant group in Iraq. This comes after a request from the US. Prime Minister Stephen Harper's Conservative Party introduced the motion last week, and it was debated this week. Now, according to AP, the motion authorizes airstrikes in Iraq for up to 6 months. However, absolutely no Canadian ground troops are to be used in combat operations. Canada is among dozens of countries that have joined the US-led coalition fighting the Islamic State militant group. Harper said if left unchecked, this terrorist organization will grow and grow quickly. They've already voiced their local and international terrorist intentions and identified Canada as a potential target. The Islamic State has spread throughout Iraq and Syria, and according to the BBC, IS members are jihadists who adhere to an extreme interpretation of Sunni Islam, believing them to be the only true believers of the religion. For these stories and more, stay tuned to News 24 Live. You can follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel.